It is. It's podcast day. We're excited. We're digging out there. What have we got? Ooh, yeah.
Dude, it's fucking podcast day.
Takes you back to that time of when you remember what you were doing when you first listened to that album, or
What is going on, you champions? That's right. Yes.
What up?
Podcast day. Two dudes talk music. Yes, and stew. I've been stewing on this shit all day.
What is going on?
Yes.
It's that time. It's that time. Podcast time. Hey, spill the beans, man. Spill the beans. We want it. We want this. The exclusive details.
All right. How we doing, everybody? It is podcast day once again. It is everyone's favorite time of the week. Friday, Junior. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's the end of the week. We're all happy. We're all ready to go. My brother, how you doing?
Dude, I've been alright. Had a bit of a medical emergency, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad glad you're doing okay, mate. Glad you're doing okay.
If it ain't kill me,
couldn't do it without you.
Ain't stopping me.
Ah.
How have you been, my brother?
Yeah, all right. A little, some ups and downs and all that, but we're getting there. Just more planning shit for this US trip. Trying to tee stuff up. It's getting pretty close now. I think it's like 4.5 weeks or something till I fly out, so it's getting pretty exciting.
Nice.
Trying to tee up some different stuff. And yeah, I mean, other than that, we've been reaching out to a lot. I've been reaching out to a lot of artists for streams. We kind of got a whole bunch of them. I think we're booked up for people right up until I go away, and then we've got a bunch of people that we can tee up for after that as well. So keep an eye out for all that stuff. We might do some pre-taped ones and then stream them out for you guys. We're not entirely sure exactly how we're going to run that, or we might get a co-host in to replace me for those 7 weeks. We'll just see how it all goes. Basically, we're trying to plan the best way to handle that. But yeah, what about you, man? How's things going with the Beer Buddy stuff? Have you had
The Beer Buddy
did you
stuff's
stream
been
work?
good.
Did you stream work this time on Monday?
I didn't end up streaming Monday. It had to get cancelled. But the rest of the streams through the week went absolutely fantastic, aside my little trip to the hospital. But I just need to slow it down a bit. But regardless of that, we have giveaways coming up soon for Gymna Rocks 2023. I will have one double pass to give away, not on this stream tonight, but later on. So keep an eye out. So we'll be doing a giveaway one double pass on that, valued at $240. So you get a ticket for you and your friend, and then I'll be doing another 2 giveaways on the Beer Buddy streams. So just keep an eye out for that. And I've got Chavez Cartel on Saturday.
Lovely.
So that's all coming
together.
It is, man. It is. It's really coming together. So nothing's slowing me down at the moment. I'm feeling good.
Much love to MMK for hooking us up with those tickets to give away as well. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
It will be.
Look, I'm not gonna make it this year myself, but if you're in Queensland, in the Brisbane area, Sunshine Coast area, and you're after you like the idea of an old school multiple day camping festival, definitely check out Gymna Rocks. It's a good idea. There's a couple of dozen bands across 2 days. There's camping, there's food trucks, there's
BYO. You can have a fire around your little camp. It's amazing.
Yep. Skunk Blunt played last year. We had a pretty good time.
That amazing.
We had a pretty good time. And yeah, you came up for that one too. So
I didn't. I'm going up again.
Going up again. Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be my
yeah. All right. Well, before we move on to our guests, there, just a quick reminder. Like, share, follow, do all that good stuff. If you like what we're doing here, support us on the socials. You can also support us financially. We do have the paid Twitch subscriptions happening there as well. So if you want to give us a bit of support financially in that way, you get ad free as well. So that's an extra little bonus for you, and it just helps us to continue doing this. And because it takes a little bit of time there. We got a new follow, X Skin Dog and
680 South.
680 South.
Much love.
So,
welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music family.
Follow. Thank you very much for the follow, both you guys. All right, yeah. Why don't I turn it over to you, Kyle, and you can do the introduction.
Alrighty. So I've been looking forward to this one. Yeah.
He really has.
I have.
Not been able to shut up about it.
Now, just as sort of me and Raffy boy sort of left the scene, these boys slipped straight in, and what an absolute behemoth that they have become now in the last 6 or 7 years. Please welcome tonight the boys from Greystanes 2145. A special place in my heart because, you know, I grew up there, man. I love it, love it, love it to see boys from the hood of where you grew up in winning just off the back end of that awesome album that they released last year, Troubled Souls. They've just finished playing with the Shinto Katana on their resurgence on their resurgence tour. Please welcome tonight to Two Dudes Talk Music, Guy and Sean. How you going, lads?
Yeah.
Which band?
Not bad.
Which band? You didn't mention the band.
Heists.
Heists.
Oh, yeah.
Heists.
There we go.
There you go. It's right there. It's on the shirt. Heists.
That's true.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This is awesome. We're really stoked to have you all on the podcast. As Kyle mentioned, he's was really hyped for this one. So I've been looking forward to it as well. I did check out. So I will admit I wasn't familiar with the music prior, but once Kyle was like, "We're getting these guys on," definitely went and checked it out. Really impressed. Really digging the stuff you guys have put out. So
Sick. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the kind words, man.
So
so you guys have had a lot of fun recently. You guys have been very busy.
Oh, we always have fun.
playing a hell of a lot of shows, right?
Hell yeah.
Trying to.
So you guys just got off that tour with what was it we had there? It was
Evergreen Terrace.
Evergreen Terrace,
The
yes.
OGs.
yeah.
God damn.
They were a bit more wild than I expected them to be. Like they're older boys. I think they're all like average 42 years old, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take it easy on this tour. I'm not gonna drink too much. Bro, they're all waking up drinking red wine. It's crazy.
We get to a show and they're like going pretty hard already. And we're like, whoa, we
Because
should
they've been doing it for a while. They know how to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's experience.
Match fitness.
Pretty much. Go on a prac drunk so you show up and you know that you're good.
Yeah, well, if you're buzzed all the time, then the only problem you're going to face is sobriety.
That's baseline. You know what I mean? Probably not healthy. I don't know if we should be promoting this, but that's
Hey, rock stars, man. It's the way it goes. We're not here for a good time. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
That's it.
That's it.
Absolutely. And I've been going through on your Facebook page. Do you have like a photographer that travels with you to do all your stuff?
Griff is. I told him about this. He said he was going to come on, but he's not here yet. So that makes me sad.
Yeah, we do. Aiden Griff. Is it Griffith? I don't know. I just
Griffith?
call it
Griffith? I think it's Griffith.
Something.
His name's Griff. It's the
Yeah.
Griff.
So he comes pretty much everywhere with his, and then within the team as well, we also have Guy's a photographer and videographer in his own right. So he does a lot of the just any sort of hang footage or chill stuff. Like as we're not short on content when we're on tour. I've noticed.
Awesome.
There's always someone with a camera in their hand.
Because I was gonna say like the photos that I'm seeing on the page, it's all very like consistent in terms of the style and quality, and they're all like really premium stuff. So I was gonna say whoever you've got doing it knows their shit and is really like he's got all capturing all the jump shots and everything too. Like
Oh, bro, the punk
it's
jumps.
very yeah.
We made a point of doing less punk jumps, and then Griff was like, "Nah, it's not happening." I'm like,
Oh,
oh shit.
I would not take your photos.
The amount of like almost kicks to the head I've copped, man. Like it's an unsafe environment.
Well, that's my whole thing. Like, so you guys, so hardcore for me was sort of like Hatebreed.
Yeah.
You know, that sort
Hardcore.
of yeah, and I liked it up to the point of when people started swinging their arms,
Right.
and then I love the music and I hate the mosh pits.
True. They're all push pits now, anyway, man. Don't stress.
Yeah. It's nice when you get roughly people my age at like a new metal show, and then everyone's just sort of just going up and down. But
That's cool.
in saying that though, you guys go hard, man. Like in some of your video clips with some of your live shots, which are just unreal. It's just the crowd goes bonkers.
Yeah, it depends where you are.
Where
But,
would you
like,
where would you guys say that you sort of best? I guess I don't know. Yeah,
It's always gonna be Sydney. Like
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like we got heaps of friends, and then like obviously a bigger reach here.
Yeah.
More people know us from here.
In saying that, the last time we were in Adelaide went absolutely crazy, and like that was
This
one
is
of
true,
those
Adelaide.
shows where we started.
It was like
and we
first show
kind
of the tour, and it just like started off so strong.
yeah,
Adelaide knows how to turn up, though. Adelaide knows how to turn up because
Yeah,
they
when
don't
they
get
do, yeah.
they don't get as many shows as they used to of East Coast bands and international.
Yeah.
Like, big, an Aussie tour doesn't often include Adelaide these days. So
Yeah.
I feel like Adelaide's the only city that's like everyone's done this thing where they're not buying pre-sales and not showing up to shows until the very last minute. Adelaide seems to have done the complete opposite, whereas they're like going to shows more and buying tickets earlier, and when they get there, they're going harder than everyone else. It's yeah, interesting how that all worked out. But yeah, that show was mad. So like when we rocked up, we kind of do a thing. We're like, all right, who in the room knows this? And like 2 people put their hand up. I'm like, all right, this should be interesting then. By the end of it, there's like, I suppose Evergreen Terrace are bringing in older crowds. So you've got these 40-year-old lads just smashing into each other and having a fucking wild time. It's a good show.
that's awesome, though. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. So I'm just looking through the tours. I mean, you guys have had multiple tours in like just the last half of 2022. Like I'm looking at that there. You guys obviously had, you guys had Dreg.
Yeah.
Which was sort of through June and July.
The police.
Then we move on there. Not so much a tour, but I can see you guys did sleeps while she sleeps. Sorry, with with Loathe as well, which is fucking awesome as well. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Really nice guys as well.
And then you got, where was the other one? Obviously, we've talked about the Confession Shinto Katana show, and then the Evergreen Terrace tour as well.
No, it's so busy.
These nuts. Like, you guys have been so fucking crazy this last 6 months.
You know what's wild though? God, I miss playing headliners. I want to play a headliner.
Yeah, well, hey,
Whoa.
you guys.
I like
think
that.
That's
I like
it.
that.
It's time for a Heists Aussie tour where you guys are like, you guys are at the top of the fucking bill.
Why not just organise it? Why not just grab 2 or 3 bands that that are a couple of good mates and just go try it?
That's what we normally do. We did like last year, right? No, not last year. Year before.
Yeah, we had a co-headliner with one of our friends bands from Melbourne called Anticline.
Yeah, Anticline. Shout out.
Yeah. Never a tour on Easter weekend and decide to buy tickets 2 weeks before. Don't do that because your band will be broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it definitely seems like that's something you guys should probably put into the works for this year. I think because as you said, you've done a lot of support tours, so you will have built up that audience. The name will be in a lot of people's minds now. Sure. So it's probably not the worst idea. If you do look at coming to Brisbane as a part of that, I've got some bands that I can probably put you guys onto if you need any suggestions in that regard. Just throwing to the chat there, 680 South. Let's go Heists. It says it's Ace, by the way.
Oh,
Ace, man.
What's up, homie?
What's up, Ace?
Thank you so much
Welcome
for the
to the
subscription, Ace. Thank you. Welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music family. So, obviously, you guys have been working really hard to get to where you are, and you've done a lot of tours in the last 6 months there. But let's go back a little bit further, and just give us a rundown. Like, how did the band get started, and like, how did you guys sort of come together, and what's that journey been like over the sort of the several years to get to the point that you guys are at now? Because it's obviously, I mean, you don't get where you are now by not working really hard that whole time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just give us a bit of that history, where you guys got started.
I'll take this. I'll start this one, guys. All right? That's all right.
Nah, I'm so upset, bro.
Yeah, you're upset, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty cut.
So all of us in the, how do I explain this? So we kind of were a band that changed the name. So we used to be a band called Boardwalks, but it was only Chris that was original from Boardwalks. And then we had a bunch of music out, and we kind of didn't know what we were doing. This is probably 7 years ago or something. I joined that just after one of Carl's mates, Matty Olsen, just left. Shout out Matty Olsen.
what's up, Matty?
What's up, Matty? You're probably not here, but that's all right. So I joined and jumped on bass with Chris. Fun story with that. I'd never played bass in my life. I saw him at a show, and he's like, "Oh, we just got a drummer, but can you play bass?" And I pretty much said, "Can't anyone, man?" and now I'm here. It turns out it's really hard. Anyway, so that carried on for a bit, and then we recorded the EP, which is the Heists EP. And then I think it was at Guy's birthday in 2016 or 2017. Chris kind of turned around to us. He's like, "Hey, let's change the name. Like, let's start fresh. This is a different sound. It's a different sort of energy that we're going for. And there's a whole new crew around us, and like we're a pretty solid crew. So like, let's just start fresh." So then, yeah, changed the name. That surprisingly did well. Came out with a couple of songs. Got a little bit more traction than we expected to initially, like a lot more than we were having as Boardwalks. And then, yeah, I suppose we just kept trying to get on whatever shows we could. Did a bunch of headliners that surprisingly went better than we expected to. Started making a lot more connections and I think we kind of worked out like the marketing side of it a lot better as well. And then, yeah, did a single or two, and then, yeah, COVID hit. But there was a bunch of shows in between that, and made a bunch of friends with people in Melbourne, and yeah, feel free to ask anything specific.
Well, okay, so you mentioned that you guys kind of managed to get your heads around like the marketing thing and taking those steps there. That's obviously a big part of how, you know, bands find a lot of success these days. Like, it's not a meritocracy anymore. You can't just, the way the algorithms work and push some things and not others, and all those dramas around it. Like, it's not like you have to play that game. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're not playing that algorithm, you kind of you know, you got one arm tied behind your back basically in terms of trying to find any success. Is that something you guys discovered just through trial and error, or have you guys got like qualifications in that sort of side of things, or how did you guys come across the right approach to that?
It's something. So I kind of do that now. So I do a bunch of, I suppose, marketing for bands when they release singles or tours and stuff. So I've done stuff like Ocean Sleeper and Stepson. We thought we knew what we were doing, and then COVID hit, and then as COVID hits, you kind of sit at home with absolutely nothing to do. And that's when I kind of took the mantle. So Chris was kind of doing everything at one point. With, you know, he'd ask me and Guy, kind of like, yeah, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea? And we talk about it. And then he got a lot busier doing just the stuff he does. He's like, him and Guy do videos for pretty much every band you can think of now. So I kind of took it upon myself to be like, all right, well, if I'm going to learn it, I'm going to learn it properly. So yeah, I suppose I just cracked into the digital marketing side of things. Learned Facebook Ads Manager, and learned it as if I was running a business rather than I was just in a band. Mm-hmm. And like that's how you sort of have to run it these days. And like, you're right with the algorithm thing, and that's an ever-changing process. So until very recently, like, the algorithms were all pay to play, which, yeah, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So Facebook, you know, when we started as Boardwalks, it was pretty much free reach. And now you'll notice if you post on Facebook, you're lucky to get, I don't know, 30 likes, and we have like 8,000 or 9,000 people that follow us on Facebook, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Which
sucks. So to reach out to your audience, you do sort of have to put that extra effort in, but you pick and choose your battles with that. Like, I mean, Instagram's a bit more friendly as well. You know, we can get a couple hundred likes without having to do any extra bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a trial and error thing, and we're still working it out. Like, there's definitely mistakes that we make. It's an ever-growing journey.
But quite clearly, you guys have actually got a handle on it, considering what you've got. One song on Spotify that I'm looking at here, Revenant, which has amassed 271,000 streams.
Oh, that was a fluke.
I don't think it was a fluke, considering now I'm looking at the Defendant, which has popped 187,202 streams.
Also a fluke.
And yeah, I don't think you get 3 of them when you got Memorial on your last album when you get 110,000, and that album, when you're looking at it from there, has probably amassed nearly 200,000 streams across the whole thing. That's a solid effort.
I don't know. What do you reckon, Guy?
Fuck yeah. I didn't know those numbers were like that. That's pretty good.
Guys, definitely a lot of traction, and I think I saw something that was like, you know, if you've got, you know, it was the amount of monthly listeners that you need to have to be in the top, you know, 1% of online on Spotify, the amount you need to get each month is crazy low.
Yeah,
Like it's
right.
way lower than you'd think. It's something like if you've got 100 people a month or something listening to
Okay.
your stuff regularly, you're already in the top 1% on Spotify. That's how much stuff is on there.
That's super.
Yeah,
That
just like a
just
lot. I guess
doesn't
there's
get
like a
any
lot of
attention.
dead things too. Like somebody will be like, "Oh, let's make my own project," and then like, "Oh, nah, I give up on this. I'm gonna do something else."
Yeah,
Yeah, I
or
mean,
they don't
absolutely.
understand. They don't understand that there is the marketing side of things, and that doesn't necessarily have to be pay to play. Like that can be, playing shows. If you think about it as like a form of marketing. I always notice like when we're playing shows, especially like tours, our monthly listeners, or not monthly listeners, but our like daily listeners is just up and up and up, and then it usually is for about a week and a half after the tour because the people that didn't know you see you and then carry on. So like, yeah, activity over everything is what I always say. Um, yeah, that's super interesting. I didn't realize it would be that low. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's way lower than what anyone would expect.
Yeah.
So you guys would be well and truly above that threshold for sure. But yeah, it's interesting figure that I saw there. I will just go to the chat there because we've had a couple
Read my
more
mind.
things. We had 10-ton steg followed, so thank you for that follow there. And X Skin Dog says Sean looking cute as hell.
What's up?
How you
680
doing?
680 South was saying, I remember seeing you guys as boardwalks at Scary in like 2015.
Crazy.
So we got some fans going back quite a while in the chat there. Thank you so much for the chat as well, guys. If you feel free to pop any questions you may have for
Yeah,
the band
we'll
in there.
gladly ask.
Get involved, get amongst it. We'll happily pass those on. Happily add those questions through to the guys. So
Oh,
yeah,
that
okay.
scary show. Sorry, that scary show. I think I like really needed this shit. Like I, I got on stage and I'm like, oh fuck, and we're like just about to play. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? I
that
can't remember what I did, but I definitely nearly shot myself.
Inside
Don't do any-
thoughts. Inside
Don't do
thoughts.
any hardcore crab squatting or anything.
Yeah.
No punk
Was
up. No punk jumps happened that night.
Was that the show when I broke my bass and squeaked?
Nah, I think it was at Crowbar.
Was
Wood Post Stag, yeah.
Awkward show.
'Cause I
Yeah,
didn't
we'll throw it back to 2015 or 16 or whatever it was. I was smacking my bass because I thought that was a cool thing to do. And everyone's ringing out. And there was a bit of a song that Chris was like, all right, can you sing this bit? I'm like, yeah, I'll sing it for you, man. Like, I could sing that bit. And he's like, made me practice it in front of him 50 times. He's like, all right, you got it? I'm like, sweet, yeah, I got it. And I get up there and everyone's like, wow. I'm like, whack, whack, whack. Bam, break the strap lock out of my bass guitar. That falls on the ground. I grab my bass really quickly, try to keep playing. The bit comes up and I go, ah!
It's like the one because I wasn't in the band then. I was doing like media work for them, and it's like I just like that was like the one part of the song that I actually got on video because I was like doing photos or whatever, and like I just like nailed that bit. I'm like, nice. I gotta find that file. I don't know where it is.
That's got to go in. That's got to go in the 10 years doco, right? Like
Yeah.
get the 10 years. To,
That's not too
history
far
of the
away,
band.
man. I think we need shit.
Well, you have to. Did the 2 years of COVID count in the music industry, considering we got shut down? Does
I'd
it?
be
Does,
Yeah,
up
counts.
that.
Yeah.
does
See,
it
I
count?
don't think I don't think it counts.
I don't think it counts.
But like also like there was stuff still happening. Like
Yeah.
we were still making plans and like trying to figure
Yeah,
out
you
how
guys-
we're gonna.
Bands
Go
still
about it.
were busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of tours we booked that didn't happen as well.
Mm.
Salty.
Yeah. With bands that like I love. Like just like I don't know, random Melbourne bands and like local friends and stuff and like yeah. And the things don't end up lining up later and everyone's busy and everyone's doing all these support tours because everyone's bigger and stuff now, so it's yeah.
So
They'll
Sean,
all happen.
so Sean was saying, Guy, you guys do a lot of work with other bands doing their videos and stuff like that. What sort of work have you done in that sort of perspective?
So we do like a fair few music videos. Chris does a lot of the design kind of thing for pretty well any Sydney band at the moment. I do a lot of photos, like promos and live shots and whatnot, and that kind of media.
So you
Oh,
guys
so-
are almost like a whole unit that can provide these services for other bands.
Oh,
as
bro,
well.
it started because we didn't want to pay somebody to do a music video. So we're like, fuck it, I've got a camera, let's just do it. And that was Revenant. I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
it was
wow.
the first video we ever did together.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's a good way to supplement your revenue stream as a group. If multiple members in the band are able to work together to provide those services for other bands too.
But now it's kind of turned into we just want to make our videos cooler and cooler, so we have to like put more money into the videos. So we're still spending the same amount of money, but we get really cool videos out of it, so that's right.
In saying that, like I don't know how happy Chris will be about me saying these facts, but what we pay like $1,200 for the video we did on Saturday. Like, is it for a new song, which will be announced soon? Sorry.
Yeah, which is pretty.
Yeah, it's way more
compared to a
affordable
normal
than,
video.
Yeah, it's better than paying $5 or $6 grand, or I don't know what. Yeah, I haven't paid for a video in a while, so I don't know what the
Hell yeah.
Yeah, well, the chats are coming in.
10 Ton Steg
10
said
Ton
highest
Steg, yeah.
band in Sydney.
No cap.
Sure, bro.
And then 680 South said Chris actually designed my single art pre-COVID as well. Well, there you go.
Who is 680 Steg? Tell us your name, sir.
680, no, it's
Ace.
10 Ton
So-
Steg,
Oh, sorry.
and then 680 South.
10,
I was
10
gonna
680 South is Ace. 10 Ton Steg. Not sure who that is
Mystery
there, but
man.
gonna teach
woman.
gonna teach Sean how to play bass one day though.
Just don't hit the shit out of it.
Yeah. I've gotten better.
Well, dude, that
Have
was
you though?
It was the one thing I noted. It was the one thing that really stood out for me on that whole album was just how forward the bass was in it.
Yeah, that was one of the things I did appreciate about the mix. That was done. The mix was done by Buddha. I'm pretty sure he worked at. No, where did he work? I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Electric Sun?
Electric Sun.
Wow,
Didn't
I haven't
that
heard-
Party Pig?
Huh?
Did that run out of Party Pig for a bit? Or
Yeah, it did. Party Pig, Electric Sun originally started out at Party Pig right before it got sold the second time.
Yeah.
Good damn.
Yeah, and then it got turned into the bongo.
The bongo.
Really quietly.
So 10 Ton Steg is Ethan.
Oh,
Oh, mate. What's up, brah?
How are you, man?
So
He even said
Yeah.
Ethan Bra.
so you mentioned that you guys have got a new single that's going to be announced and sort of coming out soonish with a video to go along with it.
Yeah.
What else have you guys been working on?
I suppose the video for that. There's a tour that I can't say too much about that should be around March or April, I believe.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, so I suppose see where the world takes us from there. There's a few demos in the works as well for maybe some future music, which is sounding crazy. Like, it's early stages yet, but yeah. I think,
Yeah, because you guys did just recently drop like a whole album.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd be, you're probably not on the verge of dropping another album as a whole.
that was
but-
pretty much finished at the start of COVID. So like I think we finished tracking of that in, like most of it was done as COVID sort of hit. When was that? Like March or April or something?
Yeah.
And then we had to wait for the first lockdown to sort of disappear, and then there was a few just like little extra harmonies and whatever else that needed to be done, and yeah, she was sort of done at that point. What was annoying though was Chris got a lot better at singing towards the very, very end of it, like actual clean vocals rather than just hiding everything behind a harsh vocal. What I like is, I don't know, we call it tonals, but it's like a pitch scream sort of thing. He's really good at that sort of stuff.
It's fucking amazing. It's one of the other things that I noticed throughout the whole fucking album. That motherfucker can scream in key.
Yeah. And he's like,
And he's
yeah, it was-
good.
So I do all the like vocal demo stuff within, just because I always have a setup somewhere wherever I'm living, and just make sure that that's sort of a comfortable thing that we can have. But he could scream in key better than he could sing in key for the longest time. And now he's a machine. Like you guys will hear it once this new single comes out. Like I'm amazed. And everyone that I've shown it, they're like, "Whoa, Chris really stepped it up." But yeah, those songs were done in 2020. And even like releasing the album, we could have played more of the single game and tried to appeal to algorithms and stuff. But I think we were just keen to kind of get it out and move on. You listen to the same songs for what 2 or 3 years. And then
They feel so old. Like even playing them live now, we're like can't differentiate the old songs between these songs.
yeah,
they
like
don't feel new anymore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I still like them. Like they're definitely like once the song's played live, I think it comes to life.
Yeah.
but now we've definitely toured the crap out of them. And like the new stuff, we're dipping our toes in some newer elements and stuff the band's never tried before. And
Okay, like what sort of stuff are you talking about? Like more like backing track type stuff or sample? Like what are we talking about here?
There's some of that. There's some of that. Just it's pretty much the same thing, but yeah, this is like the typical thing to say, but it's the same. The heavy bits are heavier. We've down-tuned a little bit, not by much, but a little bit. Yeah, there's more happening as far as layers and production and stuff. Yeah, I'm keen to see how our fan base reacts to that. But it should be cool. I mean, like we're still the same band. I don't think we can ever not be that band. Like, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think that's key. You know, there's nothing wrong with evolving your sound, evolving your songwriting, and the way that works. I mean, look at, you know, is it who am I thinking of? Is it like Bring Me the Horizon? That all their new stuff is like almost unrecognizable from their old stuff.
Oh yeah,
but they're still, you know, they've still got. I mean, yeah, there's obviously fans that are like, it's like the Metallica thing, right? Metallica changed up their sound on the Black Album, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're fucking terrible now." You know, you change your sound. You have to change your sound over time, I think, to keep your audience interested, to attract new fans as well,
and like keep yourself interested too, because you don't want to be playing the same thing forever.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And this is where so many bands, I think, so many of these, you know, older bands fall down because they, you know, if they don't evolve, then it just all kind of sounds the same. You know, like everyone, you know, talk about like someone like AC/DC, right? No one gives a shit about their most recent albums. It's all the classic stuff because the recent albums just sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
Or, you know, even Black Sabbath as well. Like Black Sabbath came together and they talked about doing like another, around the time they did their farewell tour, they were talking about, oh, do we do another hour, like some more new music? And eventually they went, no, because no one gives a shit about new music from us.
Mm-hmm.
They only want to hear the old stuff.
Incubus had the right algorithm. You write up until 2011 or 2012, and if you're not going to do any better, don't ever write a shit album. Just stop there and tour the shit out of what everyone wants.
Fuck that. That sounds so like just
well,
life draining.
You've either got one of two options, in my opinion. You either it's the whole Batman theory. You either stay the hero. Well, what is it? You stay the hero long enough until you turn into the villain or whatever. You're eventually going to write a shit album and you will bomb. So why not hit the peak and plateau?
But I think with like, if everyone's doing other stuff as well,
yeah,
you can kind of, you know, like you do, like that's probably, I think that's what happens with Incubus, right? Like they'll come together, they'll do a tour for a year or year and a half, whatever. Then they'll all kind of go off and do other stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back, you know, then 5 years later, they'll come back together and do it. It's if you're doing it that way, as long as you're still creatively fulfilled,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah, I think that's a lot more important. Like you don't want to, you're not making music to make everybody happy. Like I'd rather write an album and it flop than like write the best album ever and hate it and just play it for the next 10 years.
I like that. It's a bit of conviction.
Sounds like a waste of life to me. Like
a bit of honesty, man. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like if you're in a band that's been, you know, that's your money maker that allows you to do the other stuff. It's kind of, you know,
I get you.
I get it though.
But also being in a like band like that,
a job.
I feel like you don't have a lot of time to do the other shit. You have to like commit 100%.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that new Mudvayne album.
Yeah. Well, that's what didn't they teased it like ages ago. I think they put like something on one of their socials and it was like 201 question mark. And that was in the mid 2010s, and everyone was like, "Oh, are they gonna do a like reunion by that?" And it wasn't until like 2021 or 2022 that ended up happening. So,
you know what it was? Someone was drunk on their socials and was like, "Let's see if they're still keen."
Yeah, probably. So we're just going back to the chat there for a minute. We were talking about the new music there. 680 South was like, "Keep the breakdowns, please." 10 Ton Steg agrees with that.
Breakdowns.
And then 680 South, that's the thing with being a creative. You got to do what you love. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's you know, being able to play the music that you love is the most important thing, more than anything else. And
for sure,
if you're, especially in the type of music that you know, we're focusing on here with like the heavier styles of music and the more rock and metal focused styles, it's a lot easier to tell when someone's heart's not in it.
Yeah.
You know, from the way that they behave, the way they interact with their fans, you know, the way they behave on and off stage, the way they present themselves with it. It's you know, it's much more obvious. Like if you're talking about pop music, there's a lot of that facade involved there. Yeah. But I think with metal and rock and all those adjacent genres, it's very much a huge degree of authenticity that I think goes along with performing in that style. And there has to be, just by necessity. You know, that's not a pace that you can keep up if your heart's not in it.
No.
Oh, for sure.
No.
No matter how much money's on the table. You know, I mean, we just saw
the drinking, the partying, the constant moving around. It all takes its toll.
Like the drinking and partying doesn't have to be part of it.
No, but even the traveling around and playing those high intensity shows at that level every night.
Yeah, like I saw something today.
If you're like driving somewhere on 2 hours sleep, and you're like with a bunch of people that you don't really care about, and like doing something that you don't really care about just to make money, like you're gonna snap and you're gonna fall out pretty quick. And
and I mean, I think I saw today that one of the members of Fall Out Boy has actually said, "Look, this is over the last several years, we've been going so hard at all this, and I'm just like I'm burnt out, so I have to step away from being a part of Fall Out Boy for the foreseeable future. I might come back down the road, I might not, but this is what I need to do for my health." For my sanity, and that's the most important thing. You know, I would never, you know, the discussion of whether or not artists owe their fans continued performance is irrelevant when we're talking about someone's health. Yeah. So
it was more than what he bargained for.
Yeah,
I don't think it was more than what he bargained for. Though. I mean,
is that a lyric? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lyric.
See, I'm not a huge Fall Out Boy fan.
I like Fall Out Boy.
Well, that's why it went over my head.
The dudes in Thornhill had to drop. So they, like, as soon as COVID stopped, I think they were one of the only bands I know that they did like a regional tour in between the lockdowns. That went super well, and then as soon as COVID was sort of coming to an end and shows were coming back, sort of thing, they were just touring and overseas and then coming back. And then I think it was their European tour with Barry Tomorrow. They had to drop out of it. Yeah, and like they were just straight up frank on Parkway Drive. Had the same thing happen to them. They were just, hey, we've been doing this for a long time. Like we've gone too hard. We need to take a step back for our mental health. And I think fan bases are receptive to that. Like obviously they're, you know, a little bit. Some people will be dickheads and be pissed about, oh, but I wanted to see you. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, I think everyone's mental health and like I'd rather a band have longevity than me see them on a random Saturday night.
Yeah, 100%.
And nowadays, yeah, you're right. I think nowadays, especially, fans are much more receptive to that sort of thing. Like, rather than going, like, 20 years ago, if a band had done that, people would have, oh, they're fucking soft. Like, they're fucking soft. Why are they? So,
I think the band having like now there's a lot more access to musicians as well, like to your favorite artists.
Yes.
So they can post on Twitter or on Facebook and explain why they can't do it. Whereas 20 years ago, you were relying on the general media. And it was just, Metallica is cancelled. And you're like, well, fuck Metallica. You know what I mean? Plus,
no, but no one could say that. No one could just hop on their phone and go, fuck Metallica. You just had to lump it or like it. Big shout out to Neck Up for the follow.
Yeah, it's all popping off. It's all popping off today. Plenty of
Chris is
in the chat. Chris is probably working on a video. They're like, let's just make sure they don't say anything horrible.
No, hey, Chris, if that's you, man, I'll tell you what. Very envious of your high quality pitch screaming, my friend. Like 10 out of 10. Very well done on the album. Very good.
Thanks, Uncle Chris.
Hey, you always got to have a caretaker in the band, Matty Petrel.
So you're working on, you got some demos there working towards the new album. You've got, you're talking about you got tours lined up there. So it sounds like this year's going to be another really busy year for you guys.
So
Is
far.
that the
Yes,
plan?
sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Little Birdie did tell me that you guys are going to be very, 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 very busy.
Who's the birdie?
I can't tell you.
Who's the birdie and where do they live?
Why are they talking shit?
I'm like that. I'm like that weird bald dude out of Game of Thrones. My birds are listening everywhere.
So ex Skin Dog said Chris carries the band. I've seen firsthand these two do nothing.
Yeah,
no arguments there.
why are we here?
I play guitar. Pretty cool.
No, I feel like everyone's got their roles these days.
No, but it's good that you guys work it so well. Like, you guys have worked, you got the marketing covered, you guys got the video structure covered, you guys got photographers that come with you. Like,
You've got all your bases.
Yeah.
All your bases covered to keep the machine going. Really.
you're like a record company's worst nightmare because they don't like you literally don't need them.
No. But that's it. They're a record company's dream because if they can con them into signing the right contract, then that's how it is. I mean, and that's the way it is. Like the labels
That's what I've been saying.
The labels don't want to know you until you don't need them.
That's true.
And once you're making money without them, that's when they want in.
Yeah. And they want to try and amplify the noise that you're making. Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
He's very right.
That's how that stuff works. Have you guys had much of that? Have you had any interest from labels in terms of like distribution deals or anyone, labels coming in interested in signing you guys for trying to make big promises and stuff like that, or has it been just
so
guys?
I won't go into the specifics to say just because I feel like
No, that's fine.
Yeah. But around when we finished the record was, I don't know, May or April, when in 2020 when COVID was sort of kicking in, and we were having chats with a few people both here and overseas. And nothing sort of eventuated. It just sort of, there was a bunch of conversations, a bunch of, I'd love to, but we don't know what's going on. There's a couple of like, hey, we're just really busy. Probably should have hit them back, to be honest, because we, by the time we dropped it, almost 2 years later, they probably weren't as busy. But
well, now you got the numbers to show them. Now you got the numbers to prove that there's the attention there. So
we also I think off that one we were off like just the last record anyway. We were like, let's just do it off our own backs and see how we go. And then at least we know that 100% of what happened with that record was ours. And obviously it could be bigger, you know what I mean? But we have been touring the country with both some of our best friends, bands we've wanted to tour with, and like legends, like Evergreen Terrace. Every time I die, it broke up. Rest in peace. I'm happy with where we're at, and those conversations were had, so those conversations can be sparked up again in future. I think with that, we'll just sort of wait until the right time, or maybe something will just come knocking on our door. But yeah, I think we're very comfortable doing things on our own, so whatever happens.
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? If you're able to do it on your own, if you're able to completely do that, then you control it all, right? You control it all. There's no one taking skimming off the top. There's no one recouping an upfront that they paid for you guys to record the album. You guys own all of that, and no one else, no other industry people can get their grubby little hands on it, essentially. Which
that's another thing. I think the only times we've ever worked with people, it's either just not worked out super well in our favor, or early on in the Boardwalk days, we just got ripped off by a few people. And that was just our own ignorance. We just didn't know what we were doing. I think there was just around that era, there was just a lot more snakes around. And now we know a bit more about the climate of what's happening, at least within our little micro scene. I think we're always a little bit weary of outsiders coming in, but in saying that, we understand that there are benefits that come with that as well.
Well, I mean, if you've had some bad experiences there, that's definitely going to make you gun shy as well. It's going to make you overcautious. You're going to be like, even if a genuine party comes along that's interested, you're going to be like, do we really need him? No, we've done all this ourselves. Do we really need that? That extra step. So,
which I think has happened a few times as well.
Yeah, and I get it. That trying to take that leap is always going to be challenging, because you need to know that it's the right deal for you guys. You're not going to get ripped off in terms of the contracts that are being put forward. You guys are going to retain the amount of control that you want, while also being able to get the benefits for everyone involved.
It's mainly branding. You really want to own the brand that is Heist.
Yeah.
You know,
record deals are changing for on a macro scale anyway. 360 deals don't exist anymore. there seems to be a lot more of the deals going around of like, you know, they all just have like you still own the masters, but you know, like this is obviously for like it's more so directed at like the TikTok viral kids that are all going crazy and whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. I think the best advice I ever had with that is make sure you have a good lawyer.
Yes, definitely.
That was going to be my next thing.
Definitely.
It's going to just
gotta-
boil down to paying someone the right amount of dollars to have your interest best at
That's
heart.
it. Invest in it. Another issue we have though is so Chris doesn't like to read things, so he'll read the first and last line and try and fill in the rest himself. So
He's got to watch that.
Definitely gotta-
He's got to watch that South Park episode.
which one?
The
human centipede one.
Human
Sentai
centipede.
pad. Sentai pad. Why doesn't he read?
Do
Yeah.
you want
Well,
the custard or the cuttlefish?
Vanilla paste, man.
That's it, yeah.
all right. Well, why don't we move on to the quick question quarter?
Let's
Kyle, have you got the thing ready?
Do what I do, man. It's all going tonight. Let's do it.
Get it, guy.
I'm gonna answer no.
So 10 Ton Steg actually asked, "Can Chris read?" So that's it.
You're gonna have to answer that one.
Maybe like a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
know. He has to be able to
mean-
read something.
He can write lyrics.
It's true.
That's the main thing.
The writing's different to reading. So.
All right. So for those unfamiliar, this is our quick question quarter. We talk to our guests here. We've been talking a little bit about them, and if you've been a fan of these guys for a while, you probably think you have a bit of knowledge about them. You feel like you know them a little bit. We want to try and dig a little bit deeper. So we got some questions here that start out easy and they get a little bit more difficult as they go along, just to help us get to know our lovely guests. So. These are all open to both of you guys, so you guys can take your turns however you want to decide who goes first. But we'll start it off. What was the first instrument that you ever played?
Drums.
Drums also.
Oh wow.
Really?
I didn't get very
know
deep
that.
into it, but yeah.
I was gonna say you suck.
Yeah.
I could play it. Does Guitar Hero count?
No.
That's where I learned drums. So.
Well, I mean, Sean, that's probably one of the reasons you're actually a good bass player. Because if you played drums originally, that would have definitely.
Sorry.
The chat's about to explode. And no, he's
You
not.
said-
All right. What was the first album that you purchased?
Oh, guy, go.
Fucking Papa Roach Metamorphosis.
Yes.
Let's go.
Lovely.
Bro, I think it was like a T-Pain record or something when I was like 10. I was an idiot.
A backup.
You're not. There's nothing wrong with a bit of. Do you know how T-Pain makes a living these days?
How?
He streams live on
Twitch.
Twitch. He's a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
Gotta
We should get
diversify.
T-Pain on.
Yeah.
He reckons
Invite
he's
him
made
to
more
chat.
money off Twitch than what he ever made doing records.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Yeah.
I know that.
I
dude,
mean,
what's-
it's that sort of market is crazy. I mean, there's wrestlers that have also do like Twitch streaming as well, and they've claimed that they make more from Twitch streaming than they have from their wrestling contracts.
Doesn't
which
what's
is
his name
nuts.
from Trivium? Matt Heafy, doesn't he do like Twitch streaming?
Oh,
as
he
well?
does tons.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't
right.
seen that.
Tons
I'm
of
gonna
stuff.
watch that.
He does tons of stuff. He does streams where he will learn a song in the stream,
Right.
start
cool.
to finish. He'll do a whole bunch of stuff. He puts on like concerts, like sort of acoustic concerts there, or does
Mad.
playthroughs and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's
Go
really
on,
really
you
big.
should do a acoustic concert right now. Let's
Yeah.
go.
You know what?
the guitar.
I recently found out Adriana Chechlich.
Yeah.
She does Twitch as well.
Hell yeah.
So back to the chat there. T-Pain's so fun to watch. 10 Ton Steg said T-Pain the GOAT, no cap. I
T-Pain
tell you what, if I didn't already know the lingo, I'd be really getting a fucking lesson in the lingo these days.
A shame.
And Chris jumping in the chat. Ace rules and Sean's room is about as interesting as him.
I full put the poster and guitar in the room, so I was like, that looks shit. And then I saw guys like, guy looks like he's in a bloody movie or some shit. I'm like, well, I look like a wanker. But I still got called cute and you didn't, dude, so fuck you.
It's what it is.
What was the first live concert you attended?
Outside of the Wiggles.
Yeah,
Yes.
like not,
Yeah.
ignoring
I was like
the Wiggles.
5. It was pretty sick though.
The fucking pit at the Wiggles concert. Oh
Right.
my god.
Threw down.
knocking kids down, trying to get up the front, like throwing
Let's go.
elbows and fucking kicks. It was amazing.
Probably Metallica. I
Oh
think.
wow.
Ooh,
Nice.
which one?
Was that the Lamb of God tour?
8? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck,
They
that was your
slapped. They
first
were
one.
so
Oh
fucking
wow, I got to go to 2 nights on that tour actually. I was really fortunate. I got one. Yeah, so I bought a ticket to go, and then one of my friends was the next night was like, oh, he'd bought 1 ticket, but when he went to pick it up, they gave him 2. And he's like, but I only bought 1. And they're like, well, the computer says 2, so here's 2 tickets.
That's sick.
So I
Let's
was like,
go.
I was like, fuck yeah, and that was amazing because they actually played like 60% different set
Oh, really?
across the 2
man.
nights.
Yeah.
So most of the songs that on the first night I was like, oh, that was amazing, but I wish they'd played this song or this song. They
Yeah.
played them on the next fucking night.
Oh, wild.
True, true.
So that was pretty. What about you, Sean?
I think first it was either something at Highland Road or, which could have been, I don't know, Chris's old band, or I think U2 was the first like concert. I
Oh
went.
wow.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
wild. That was wild. My mum just kept talking about how she had a crush on the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's why I started playing drums. Maybe I was like, all right, chicks dig this shit.
Look
I
at
mean,
Tommy
you know,
Lee.
they like a guy who can lift the heavy stuff. So if you're carrying a drum kit around,
Thinking more might have something to do with the wrist movement.
yeah, that's why they love bass players. Dude.
Yeah, that's it.
What's an instrument that you've always wanted to learn but haven't had the chance to yet?
Bears.
Depends on what you classify as learn. Like, I've fucked around with a lot of things.
What's the one that you've
Let's
always
learn
wanted to
to
learn?
learn-
What's the
I
one
wanna-
you've
I
always
wanna know
wanted to
how play
master?
The fucking,
To be proficient
what's it called? The fucking banjo. Banjo would be sick.
Oh.
It's like full finger picking. You got the separate strings, like super twangy. Like, let's go.
Okay.
It's a way cooler answer. I just think piano is cool, only because it's like, yeah, I don't know. I've
It
made
is.
so
Look,
much.
piano's pretty good.
I've made so much stuff in MIDI that I'm like, I could do this.
Yeah, it is.
It is, look-
until it works. Like,
I mean, see, for me, like I started, like I dabbled with guitar, but the first instrument I learned properly was piano, and that was like the first. So I had
Right.
that, and I was like 5-6 years of that, all the theory and everything. So, and that's like infused in my brain now. So anytime I'm
Yeah.
trying to work out a song of where's that note on the guitar fret on the guitar, I'm like, I have to picture a piano roll in my head first, figure out what the note is visually on there, and then translate that to the neck of the bass
Yeah.
or the guitar. It's a pain in the ass. It takes me like 3 times longer than it should to find a note on there, but it's definitely a worthwhile instrument to learn because the fact that you are, you're your own accompaniment as well
Yeah, I get
with
you.
that, so you're playing your your chords and your bass all together there, like you're playing your support as well as your melody all on the one instrument there.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely adds a lot as well, and I mean in terms of reading music, it is very, very valuable in that regard too. So
See, the first music I had to learn was drum notation, which is literally like this line is snare, this line is bass drum.
Yeah.
I was like, music's easy, bro.
banjo though, that also sounds pretty cool. Like you should
yeah.
do that. You should just find a cheap one and start learning, and then
Wouldn't
put
that-
it,
Wouldn't that
Put a
fuck you
banjo
up,
section
because
in
the
the
whole
next
thing,
album.
the whole thing's upside down.
is it? So like
Yeah.
your bass notes are the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
I don't know.
How
It'd be good
how
for like the Travis picking kind of like finger style shit.
I mean,
which
unless you want to
get
go,
more into.
unless you want to go Hendrix on that thing and get a left-handed one and use it right-handed.
Fuck it.
Cal,
I feel like left-handed banjos are going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Not ready
know.
for that.
I don't know.
But
You know what type of people play banjos? Them six-fingered varieties.
I definitely think though there needs to be a banjo section in the next Heists album.
where,
With so
where
much
we-
distortion.
where we shot the last video, there's like a left-handed guitar there, and it feels like such a waste of wood. Just being in my hand. Like, how you meant to riff on this?
Our drummer can basically do anything.
Yeah.
But he can play the harmonica really well, and we're like, we should
Really
put that
well.
in a song at some point.
Do it.
Do it. Get weird with it.
Shred.
Get really weird with it. I love that. All right. So, who is an artist or a band that you're listening to at the moment that you believe is seriously underrated and needs more attention?
God damn it, let me pull my.
Yeah. Good idea.
Everyone goes straight to the Spotify
Everyone
list
goes
as soon
into
as
Spotify.
as
There's
soon
a
as-
band that I've been like following for a few years. A band called Sadness. They're pretty cool. It's
Sadness.
like super, yeah, like super melodic. Like I don't know. It's like not quite death metal, like not quite black metal, but just like got super screechy vocals and like super ambient-y.
Okay, would that be
Like, I wish you
like
were here.
within the light seam?
Oh, what is that?
So that's an album.
No, they're not allowed to
EP
say their
rather.
own band. 10 ton steg. They're not allowed
Singles,
to.
like songs like "Kiss in October." Is that the one?
Yeah,
or is it a
Kissing
different-
October is a good song.
Yeah.
Good song, yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna say they're not that small, but there's a cool little kind of rock band from the UK called Boston Manor. Some of their songs, I'm like, I need to hear this in an arena, man. But they're doing like 500-600 cap rooms. I actually don't know that for a fact, but from videos, it looks like they're doing that in their respective country.
That'd be so fun though. I always
Yeah.
prefer like small rooms rather than big rooms.
Oh yeah, I just want them to have heaps of money so they keep going.
Yeah, that's true.
I see. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard anyone ever say. I just want them to play in arenas so they can keep going.
It's, I feel the pain, boys. If you're listening, I'm sure you know it.
I never know. One day maybe. But okay, cool. What were that? Sorry, what were they again? That was
Boston Manor.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
okay. Awesome.
We
So,
try and check
alright.
these out after you guys talk about them. We try
Yeah,
and check
yeah.
out
We
these-
try.
Yeah.
We put them down on the thing here. We try and check these bands out after people tell us about them too, because we're always looking to expand.
Our horizons.
Expand
That's
that.
what,
Also-
what we're about.
Also, Honest Crooks. Shout out the boys.
The boys.
Honest
Released a
Cru-
single
Who? Honest
yesterday.
Cruel.
Honest,
Honest
Crooks.
Crooks.
Honest Crooks.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So go check those bands out: Sadness, Boston Manor, and Honest Crooks. Definitely go check those
Nice.
guys out. Okay, next question is. Now we're starting to get to the pointy end here, so this will be fun. What is something that people may be surprised to learn about you?
Guy.
Sean. What do you want to know?
Whatever you want to tell us.
What do you want to tell people?
See, when they ask me this at work, I just say like, "Oh yeah, playing a metal band," and they're like, "That's
No
so
way.
weird."
We don't have
that-
that. We don't have
does-
that excuse.
Yeah,
now.
that doesn't work here.
Like, do you like Brave? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Sean has a job. That's pretty fucking surprising.
What is something surprising? I
Oh, he's a
guess,
bass player in a metal band, and he has a job. Like
This is
it's
crazy shit. Unheard of.
it's yeah, it's just ridiculous. The rare specimen. Someone called David Attenborough.
Something surprising or no? Let me think. Well, anyone that hasn't been to my house, there's like a little farm behind my house.
No,
It's
no.
good. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Anything
and what
you can
about you,
eat?
Guy?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
so many chickens.
That's good.
I don't know. I like plants.
Oh, okay. So a bit of a horticulturalist.
It's,
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
don't- as soon as this chat ends, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I should have said that."
Yeah.
You'll be
I
standing
actually
there in the
had the
shower.
best, the fucking coolest idea. Like,
Just for Twitch, just for Twitch, the word was horticulturalist. Okay, remember the end part was on there, please. Okay. What is the cringiest band name or song name that you've ever been involved with?
So my first ever band. This is a two-parter. So my first like band where we actually made a song was called Our Last Stand. Pretty generic. And we had a song called The Fence, which was about our neighbors that kept complaining about us having band prac.
that's so punk rock though.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
The
We pretty
first
much
ever-
just
The first ever Tensions Arise song was written about neighbors that complained about band prac.
true.
Wow,
Yeah.
just cool tensions arise too.
yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, no,
my-
trust me, we lived up to that fucking name, I tell you.
My first band name was like Dead by Midnight,
Oh, that's
which is like a pretty generic metal
Yeah.
band
yeah.
name. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty like. Oh,
We did a photo shoot in a graffiti tunnel too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
let's go.
Yes.
Classic. That's classic right there.
Love that shit. Love that shit. Everyone looks depressed in the graffiti tunnel.
Yeah, I think that's a rite of passage. I think that's isn't it? Like every young musician that's trying to come up and do metal or anything like that, they got to do either the graffiti tunnel or the graffiti wall.
Yeah,
Oh,
or,
cool.
or the
Photo.
open field.
Yeah,
The open field's a classic, yeah.
I miss the
Or like
open
the
field.
forests with all like the dead trees and shit.
Yeah. We
I
had
kind of like when I do
You guys are
photos
just-
for some bands now. I'm like, let's do this because such a throwback is kind of sick. Like,
You guys are just listing off like every fucking photo shoot Tensions Arise did back in the day when we were starting out.
all you need is a pile of sticks, throw it in a pile, like just throw it randomly, and you got your band name.
Yeah, your logo, yeah. All right, and this is one of my favorite questions. Last one is, what is your most controversial musical opinion?
oh,
Guy?
This is look.
I don't know.
It's for us. This is a safe
controversial.
space. You can say
I think
whatever
Drake's
you want.
good. I like Drake.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh,
New
okay.
album slaps. The one before that was pretty questionable.
Oh my fucking god!
Oh man, you're Carl's about to fucking rip you a new one, mate.
Let's go.
Bro. That new
Views
album
from the
was
street
good.
only.
What?
The new album was good.
Her loss. Yeah. There's a few bangers on there.
Hold on. Did I
21. Do something for
just,
me.
just hold on, because I did a review
21.
on that Drake
Oh
album,
no.
and I sprayed that thing.
Mad.
What one was it? No. Oh no, I did honestly. Never mind.
That was the shit one.
Okay, sweet. We
That
cool.
was the shit one, yeah.
We cool.
Okay. All right, cool.
But
Cool.
I am a
just-
Drake fan too. I like Drake. But that never mind. Like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit rough.
Wow.
Chris has jumped in the chat with his one. Creed and Nickelback are the best bands in the world. Happy to argue that.
He will. He does it on stage. It's weird.
Did anyone?
I don't know how we haven't done a cover yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
think
have
it's gonna
to.
happen.
You gotta,
Yeah.
like with arms wide open, just do a cover of that. On the album.
I want to hear a medley. I want to hear you do like a Creed versus Nickelback
Oh.
medley.
Oh, like, mash them up though.
Yeah,
like
you
Creed
gotta
music
mash 'em
and
up.
Nickelback lyrics, or like the other way
Yeah, oh my
around.
God.
too.
You have no idea how close that was to actually happening at the start of the year. But
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Make it happen. Oh, Chris has said done. It's happening.
Yeah, done.
You guys are
Let's
doing
go.
it now. We'll hold you to it.
Thanks, boss.
We'll debut it. Once you guys have done it, come back. We'll do a whole video and like we'll debut it on the fucking stream.
Yes.
We'll do it full circle.
I think I know mine.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, he came out with some rock album, the one with like I'm gonna drop you on your ear and something about the fucking world. Best album, best rap album of the 2010s.
I'm gonna have
Is
to
it a rap
find this.
album?
Who
Is
was
it a
that?
rock-
What
it's
was
a rock
that?
album?
I'll tell you what it's called. Hang on, I'll find it.
Please. Because I'm gonna go listen to that straight. I'm gonna vibe out for the rest of the night.
Is this gonna be like when Vanilla Ice switched it up and went new metal and it was actually like good?
And then he.
Listen to that.
See, this is half the fun about doing these things. Like, we've obviously got all our own musical taste, but when you talk to other people,
How many
they'll
fucking
throw in
albums
these.
has put out in the last couple of years?
Oh, bro, I
What?
Spotify
What?
Boy the other day.
What? White
That dude's got some albums.
Hold on. White Sean was a rapper. Get him to show off his cool tattoos.
Let's go.
Actually, I got a fun one. It's a bathtub with beers in it.
I have a koala smoking a joint and drinking a VB with red
That's pretty
thongs.
Mad.
It's on my leg. I'm not going to get up and show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, how many albums does this guy have?
Right?
You need
like,
to
I'm just
find it.
looking at it.
'Cause
And
you know,
like,
I
one,
was-
two,
I was-
three,
I was
four-
thinking-
4 albums last year. What the hell is that?
The weirdest thing was, I was at work and this most random thought threw into my head. I thought, man, do you remember that Linkin Park Jay-Z mashup album?
Bro, that was sick.
Bro.
Yeah,
that
dude,
slaps.
Yeah.
I still listen to that like at least like once every 2 months.
Are you
That was
serious?
Like,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to that tonight. That was
I'm-
gonna,
Some of the remixes were pretty fucking badass.
dude. That was
I
like,
thought they were the actual songs because I was like 15 or something. I was like, yo, Linkin Park fucking slap.
I was like 7. My dad showed me. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
you guys are fucked in the face. I was
I
fucking
think-
20 or 19 or some shit when that came
Fuck,
out.
you're old.
Yeah, I know.
Rebirth is the album. By the way.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Rebirth. Oh, there we go.
But all the songs say edited. I'm like, what are they? Why? What did he say?
A lot. And who was
Oh,
that? Who was that?
There's an
Who was it
international
by?
explicit deluxe version.
Yeah, the International Explicit Deluxe version.
Who was it by?
probably has the
Rebirth. Was it Lil Wayne?
yeah,
Lil
Lil
Wayne.
Wayne. Yeah.
There you go.
Because I like Lil
All
Wayne.
right.
They didn't Lil Wayne sign Limp Bizkit?
That's crazy.
He did.
Limp Bizkit's
He
on
did.
on his label.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Limp
not that they've
Bizkit-
done much since then. They've done like one song and one EP.
Dad
So-
rock.
Limp Bizkit, if you're listening, we will. No, sorry, Lil Wayne would love to sign to your record label.
Do it. Do it, you
dude.
coward.
Hey, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
Can we add him to the chat?
I think we need to make this a thing on social media, right? Like go on Instagram, hashtag Lil Wayne
Wayne.
sign Heists.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Wait,
We'll do it.
wait
We'll
till
start the
he's like-
hashtag.
Wait till he's glory searching and then
We
fucking.
need, we need
hit
a
him with it.
TikTok trend or something. I feel like
Yeah.
he'd love TikTok.
Oh, he's all over that.
Actually, he wouldn't have time, man. All he does is release albums.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
4 albums a year for the last 3 years or
Jeez.
something.
God damn, that's
I mean,
a
he
lot
probably-
of songs.
He was probably banking doing a lot of what a lot of artists did and banking material during COVID.
Yeah.
And just going like, let's just fucking record as much as we can and then put out, I suppose something's gonna fucking take. The more material you got out there, the more chance someone's gonna listen to it.
Just going off that Paul McCartney thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was cool. That was some awesome
like that.
answers there.
I
Boys.
like that.
Let's move it along to the fuck off files. Kyle, when you are ready, can you please hit the thing?
Let's do it.
Hit it.
Fuck off, files. And we are back.
All right. So, just before we get into that, we've got another follow there, Polky272. Thank you very much, Polky272.
Thank you.
Welcome to the family. Don't hesitate to jump in the chat. This has been amazing. We've
brother.
had so many
What's up?
followers. This whole
Yeah.
thing's been popping off. Okay, so for those who haven't seen us before, basically with this segment's called the fuck off files. What we do is we ask our guests what 3 things, if they could just snap their fingers and Thanos some shit out of the music industry, what 3 things would they get rid of and why? I don't know if you guys want to go one each at a time, or you want to just do your 3 and then we'll throw to the other one and do their 3, or
I'm
how you
definitely
want to
gonna
do
need
it.
some time to think about
I
this. so
can-
we're one
I
at a
can-
time.
One at a time. One at
Right,
a
right,
time.
One each.
okay.
All right. Let's do that. So, Sean, do you want to go first then?
All right. What can fuck off out of the music industry?
So this can be punters, sound engineers, anything you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
anything you don't
Big,
like.
big or small, what just something that you're like, "Oh, I really wish I didn't have to deal with this or that this
Oh,
was
I know.
happening."
That yeah,
Sean
all right.
Nevin.
Oh, guy, what do you got?
Sean Nevin.
Ah, 10-ton stegs that heists.
No, then we're gonna have no one to talk to.
For
I'm
me, from this marketing brain speaking, ever-changing algorithms. God, just pick a fucking lane, bro.
Isn't that,
That
kind
is
of like
the problem, right?
like a
That is
thing
a-
you could
no,
take,
that is
take
a
as an advantage
fresh-
though?
If they stick with it for too long, people kind of figure it out, right? So
Yeah.
then they got to change it so they can't.
But then everybody figures it out, and then people could start to get lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're like
but
constantly
no.
trying to keep on top of it, then that's gonna help keep you like ahead.
To
of
me, I think algorithms in general, just like in terms of, trying to fucking do. Okay, do we post? If we post this much, does that get more of our posts out there? If we maybe posting too much, do we have to post less instead? The length of the videos that we're posting, or posting photos versus videos, like all these questions. It's just like, fuck it off.
Yeah.
If people are following you, especially on something like Facebook, like if you're following a page, just it should show you that post in chronological order with everyone else's posts of everyone else that you're friends
At
with.
least give you an option.
It's that
At least
simple.
give you an option.
Yeah.
So like suggesting stuff and then like suggesting the most popular stuff and then just scroll.
Yeah, have
Yeah,
suggested
I
stuff
feel,
in
I
there.
feel like
for
if
sure.
you do something like that though, like your feed's just gonna be full of shit. But then I
Yeah.
guess you can just unfollow and you can curate your own feed a bit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
My thing is that I don't want to
those
see the
options
things that I
are
might
superior.
like. Just show me the shit that I already do like. Like I've
Yeah.
already liked the page. Just show me that.
But then there's like I don't want to see all my friends from high school like having babies and shit. I don't care.
I
Like,
So don't fucking follow them. Like,
Yeah.
don't be friends with them. It doesn't, like it's there's this idea that like Facebook knows what we want to see better than we do is stupid.
Yeah, it also like on a political standpoint, you end up with these like echo chambers of like the whole right and left argument. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
That's
Got pigeonholed.
Number two, like politics and music can fuck off. I think people, yeah. I think.
Don't you
just
always
because
think
you-
it's had music has had sort of a political landscape though? Even sort of like if we're going to go like Rage Against the Machine and even like Bruce Springsteen and shit like that, it's kind of relevant.
I think I do. I do think it is, and it's obviously people speaking their mind. But I think it being divisive and then you saying like, oh, they, like they believe this one certain thing, therefore I won't listen to that band ever again. I'm like, do they probably believe something else that you also believe in?
Yeah.
Like people putting people putting those bands into like corners.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
more so that.
When
More
they're
so that.
not.
Not necessarily. I think everyone should be speaking their mind and saying what they want to say, but I don't think.
because that's
I feel-
realistically something that has been. I mean, music and politics and music and rebellion or political movements have been inextricably linked since.
I mean, that's
you know,
what punk
since
music
they've
is.
been things.
Like,
Is
that's
it
literally the
really?
whole reason
Yeah.
hardcore
But
exists.
it seems like it's gone the opposite way. Like.
I understand what you're
Uh,
saying now in the sense that depending on what you may sing about in a particular song may put you in that, may pigeonhole you in that left or right
Yeah.
leaning
Yeah.
thing, and
look,
that's not right because that one song doesn't dictate your whole political
Yeah,
view. It's
exactly.
just the moment that you feel. It's just the moment that you're feeling.
that's more so what I'm getting at. Like, I suppose like people trying to pigeonhole you into a political party based on, I don't know, what you're doing. And like you don't
100%.
tiptoe. Like, I think we're fairly honest with things, but I know bands that like don't necessarily. I won't say any names, but like don't necessarily believe in what they're saying. They're just saying it to align with a field and like a certain side, and then trying to get bigger.
Okay.
Like it's. Yeah,
I mean,
that can
I've
fuck
had-
off, that, actually.
I've dealt with stuff where the singer was so afraid of saying anything that might be perceived as political
Yeah.
that they didn't want to touch on. Like, I think there was a song lyric that was suggested, and it was like it had the word war in it, but it wasn't a song about war. It was just like, come on, we're going to war, as a metaphor for like getting involved in a fight or a struggle of some kind. And they're, it's like, no, I'm not doing a song about war. It's like, it's not a song about war.
No, I get it.
But that was
That's the next thing.
afraid of that
is the whole
reference.
cancel culture thing, because
Yes.
it's like censoring creativity
Yes.
to the point where people are afraid to say almost anything,
Yeah, because it might get misconstrued. What you're trying to portray.
which then leads to Sean's thing, where it's like you get pushed into that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like everyone, like there was a while where me and Chris used to talk about like, oh, you got to be careful what you say, and I'm like, we're like not bad dudes. Like we shouldn't be the ones stressing. Like, yeah, fair enough if you're like trying to touch underage girls and stuff. Yeah, be freaking out, dickhead. Like you're a dickhead. But like it was getting to a point. This not so much now, but like a few years ago where it was like everyone was kind of on edge of like, oh, anyone can twist any words that I've ever said into being something that I wouldn't necessarily like. I don't mean. Or that I've grown past now. Like it's
Yeah, and I think that's I absolutely agree in that regard. Like you look at something like people getting, or comedians getting, or actors or whatever getting lambasted for things that they said 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, that's, yes, I said it. It was wrong for me to say it then. It was, I now recognize why it was wrong. I'm not saying that makes it okay, but and I've apologized and I've moved past that. I'm not that person anymore. And I think there's a big difference between, there's obviously, as you've acknowledged there's a difference between cancel culture and facing consequences for your actions. Sure. If someone like has posted and said horrific things, like let's say homophobic things 10 years ago, and they've said, they've claimed that they're sorry and they've grown up, and then it comes out, no, they're still saying all that stuff. Then, all right, yeah, cool. That's the consequences of being a dick, being an asshole, and lying about it.
100%. Yeah.
It's not cancel culture.
Yeah.
It's
consequences of your actions of being a fucking
liar.
liar.
Yeah, 100%.
That guy's a dick. Like,
Yeah.
basically everyone says, yeah.
For sure. Chris has just posted in the chat there. His fuck off files. He's gone 1 loading in, 2 loading out, and 3 base gear.
Oh, I'm pretty sure those are Sean's ones.
He said those for Sean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Sean
doesn't need him to fuck off because everybody else does it.
he's busy. He's busy
getting
he's busy doing the marketing and yeah.
Oh, he calls it.
strategies.
What do you call it?
Networking.
Networking.
Networking. Networking, lads.
So hey, mate. That's the way.
I got another one that can fuck off. Donkey kicks. You know what donkey kicks are?
Are those ones where you
Please
are
tell me.
the straight leg
Please
and
tell
you
me.
go like
No. It's when people are, in a little mosh pit and they're throwing their arms and whatever else, and then they wait until they're right in front of someone, maybe myself, maybe a young lady, maybe whoever, and then they just kick directly without anyone expecting it. Seen so many people get hurt from that shit. Fuck that off.
Okay.
Like
Fuck
crowd
that off.
killing shit.
I've never been a fan of crowd killing. I think probably because I've mostly seen it at metal shows,
Yeah, right.
not hardcore shows. And when you're at a metal show and very few people, you got like one or two people trying to do crowd killing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is not read the room, bro.
Yeah,
That's not the vibe. Like, you want to mosh, you want to have a push pit, you want to mosh, whatever, but there's appropriate places for it.
Yeah, and there's certain bands that's their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That when you're at like a pop punk show and someone's trying to smash everyone in the face in the crowd, I'm like, bruh, chill. Like go to therapy or something, cuz.
Yeah, like, it's awesome that people are that into the music and they're that excited
but they're
about the music.
not. They're just drunk
But
idiots who just want to hurt
if they're-
people, and they think it's okay because we're all suckers for punishment, and I just don't like it.
I mean, the same thing happens as well when you've got those guys where the crowd just isn't particularly feeling like moshing,
Yeah.
right? Like, they'll be standing around kind of having a thing, but they're not wanting to do a full-on mosh pit, and you got that one guy that's always running around sort of trying to barge into everyone and start a mosh pit. It's like, okay, we get it. It's cool. It'd be cool, but it's just not happening, dude. Like, you need to understand that that's where it's at.
Honestly, oh no, go.
I always find it funny with like newer bands or like people that are new to singing. That crowd will exist, and then the singer will always be like, "Move, everyone, fuck each other up," and then no one moves. But then they keep going with that attitude. I'm like, yeah, dude, like tone it back a bit. Just bang your head.
Yeah. Like, they'll feed off your energy. You don't need to tell them. The more you go off, the more they'll want to go off.
100%.
Like, yeah, it's one of those things, man. And that's what got me out of the whole. I went to a show, I saw that Discuss show back at the Halloween thing, right?
Yeah.
One drunk idiot, and he was and exactly that same thing. Everyone was sort of vibing on the same level, and then there's one moron that's just running into everyone.
Right.
And I'm just trying to be up the front and just chill and have a good time, and I keep on getting pulled by the scruff of my shirt, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to do this here. So I got myself in there, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, yeah, and then bang, the elbow comes out. It's like, I'm not playing. Like, I just want to stand here and watch fucking bands. I got left alone for the rest of the night. Don't be afraid to throw a cheeky elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't have to hurt.
Also, you don't want to start such fights at shows. Like,
No, you don't want to start fights at shows, but you at least want to let someone know that, hey, I'm not willing to participate in your actions.
Yeah, but you can tell them that by telling them to fuck off.
Yeah. No, normally when you tell them, that's when they get a bit narky, and they're like, come on, we're just here having a good time.
I've had both situations.
Yeah.
Where
I'm not saying intentionally, I'm just saying, just give them a bit of that, hey, I know how to handle myself here, quick pulling me by the fucking scruff of my shirt.
Bruh.
Yeah, for sure. We got we're all good still. We're back. Yeah. All right. So was that 3 from both of you, or is someone still got one to go?
Guy still had 2.
Yeah, I had 2. I got another one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
The other one was like, people need to stop taking themselves too seriously and like just start enjoying it a bit more. Like, like you could be a serious band, that's all good, but like if you're not enjoying it, there's no point. And then
I think a lot of it's gonna go off the mantra of like, if you're not having fun, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
I see. Yeah, a lot of bands just getting too involved in the we have to get big, and I feel like every time I've seen a band do that, it detriments them in the long run, and they don't get big. Yeah, I'm sure some have, but like, not that I've seen.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because it obviously it must get to a point where you sort of you hit your peak, and you're like, we have to keep going further. What's the next step? Yeah. But I mean, success, I guess, is in the eye of the beholder. You know,
exactly,
you know, you might not be the band that's selling out stadiums once a month or you know, 5 times a year, but you're the band that's getting consistent shows, consistent views, consistent.
Yeah,
So it
I
all
think
depends on.
I think a lot of that comes from measuring your success against others as well. Like I think Chris can probably attest to this if he's bothered as well. He's probably saying funny shit in the chat. But like, if it's as long as we're growing and like everything is getting better for us, that's all that really matters in Heists. Like, you know what I mean? Like the rest will come, and we'll just keep pushing and
for
pushing.
sure.
And as long as we're getting,
Just as long as you're comparing yourself to yourself, rather than to other people. Yeah.
So you guys are going off
like
the
most
whole,
things in
the
life
whole,
as
the
well,
whole
like-
golfer route where the only person you're trying to beat is realistically yourself, and then everyone else is just you're just trying to get the best score you possibly can in the long run.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it comes down to intrinsic versus extrinsic motivations as well. You know, like I mean, where are you getting your validation from for what you're doing? Are you getting it from yourself going, all right, we've done this amazing stuff. We've recorded this album that was creatively fulfilling. I feel like emotionally I've connected with a lot of the music we're putting out there. I think other people will as well. And it's awesome when that happens, but you're not measuring your success by how many people are buying the tickets, how many people are coming. Like that's a part of it as your success as from the business perspective, but your personal fulfillment out of it has to come from a different place. And I've seen too many people where they've got it the wrong way around and they lose that external validation because the band breaks up, or they leave the band to pursue something else and it doesn't pan out, or they sort of stop getting the same attention that they used to get when they were at their peak, and it drives them to a dark place because
100%.
they've got the validation and motivation is just coming from the wrong place, coming from the wrong angle, and it's not necessarily their fault. They don't even always realize they're doing it. It's just one of those things that sometimes people, the way they came up, it's laid their brains to read these things in certain ways, and but I've seen firsthand where it can send people, and it's not pretty when that happens, but it's why you just got to have that. You got to find the satisfaction in what you're doing, rather than using what you're doing to chase the satisfaction.
I think there's always a measure of like it used to be Facebook likes, and now it's like how many monthly listeners do you have on Spotify, how many streams do you have on Spotify. There's always that measure that, you know, it's looked at from, I suppose, an industry standpoint that probably isn't the right measure to be looking at. Like, I would prefer to look at, like, how much merch are we selling, how many tickets are we selling, what is the vibe of the shows, and that's probably the most important one, rather than, like, all right, how many people listened to us on Spotify last week? Like, who gives a fuck? Are they coming to the shows? Are they doing the thing? Are you having fun when you're doing it? Like, it's,
Well, given the revenue generated from streaming services, ticket
So
sales
fucking minimal.
and merch sales are more important in terms of the business of the band.
100%.
On that though, actually, on that merch question, this is something that I've seen a few times. We've talked about it on the show before. You guys have done a lot of shows, especially in the last sort of 6 months to a year. I wanted to ask you guys if you've encountered this at all. Venues, have you encountered any venues insisting on taking a cut of your merch sales?
No, not yet.
Nah,
Not
I
yet.
saw that thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I've never heard of this. This is
Okay, good.
crazy. Like,
It's good.
I think it's more in America. I think it's more happening in America than over here at the moment.
Nah, that's
but
good.
I
Nah,
don't want it to
never
become a
fly
trend over here.
There's
There
definitely
was-
venues that do it. I know Metro Theatre. I probably should call them out on that, but like I know that they
Call
did
them
it
out.
at one point, and like
Call them out. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know if they I don't know if they do it anymore. But this is like what 4 or 5 years ago. One of my mates was doing merch for another band, and like they pretty much just ran away with the money and like just said that they like we only sold like 20 shirts, but they sold like 200 or something. Like it's merch cuts can fuck off. Like we already have like merch ain't cheap, and like with us we like to have our designs be, you know, fresh designs and multiple prints of color, and then like it's not like we're barely making money off that. Like obviously we make a little bit, but like we put the care into the design expecting to get so much profit. So when someone wants 20% of the
Oh, are you still there? Or are you...
No, it's,
he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think that's the thing. Like venues get
20%
paid
's a
from
lot, but-
their fees and the food and alcohol sales
Fees and
while
bar,
people are
like-
there. Like that's how the venue gets paid. Here's my thing. If the venue can't survive off that, they're not running the business properly,
Nope.
and
Yes,
they don't
yeah,
deserve to
yeah.
operate.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
remember when bar cuts were a thing? Like, the bands get like a percentage from the bar.
Yeah, we were
That-
talking about that not long ago. It used to be,
And often
you get
was
bums
the
in
only
the seat.
payment.
Yeah, 10% of
You get
the bar bar
Yeah.
cover.
And there is some venues, sorry, that I've dealt with up here that operate with that. You know, they'll say, look, this is, yeah, if we get bar sales over a certain amount, it covers whatever fees, right? That we would have to pay to hire the venue, and then we get all the money from doors. So it's like a nice symbiotic sort of balance there. You know, you get enough people through the doors, they do enough business on the bar, so they're like, all right, cool, we made our money, so you get more money because of that.
Yeah.
But
Incentivizing you rather than
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Rather
You brought
rather
the
than
show,
sort of rather than trying to punish you for doing well. So I think but I'm glad that you guys haven't encountered that
That's good.
because
It makes me happy,
it's
We're probably
'cause
telling them to
it's-
go fuck themselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, granted, I'm not a touring, I'm not a musician that's out there touring a lot or anything. But I have to believe that if we came across a venue and we got in there and they're like, oh, by the way, we take X amount percentage of merch sales, it'll be like, right, we're not setting up our merch tonight then.
Yeah. I've seen price matching. So like if you're with like a
Like an international.
an international or
headliner.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I kind of get. Like if you don't want to be ripping them off, but also even on that respect, like everyone's still gonna buy. You know what I mean? Like the headliner's merch is probably worth more to a punter than it would be the opening band.
Yeah,
Yeah, to some degree. To some degree.
Depending who you are, but then
Yeah.
like if they're looking at it and it's apples for apples, then they're like, well, might as well get the Loathe shirt or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
not that happened at that show, but yeah. That's more of a Chris question, to be honest. I don't touch merch. I avoid it like the plague because I'm marketing.
all right.
It's so good that you guys have all little roles worked out within the band, and you guys have actually worked it out as a business, and that you guys have actually expanded that business into helping other bands within the industry and in your scene. It's a very good thing that you guys are doing. It's a good way to keep yourselves in tune with all the other bands that are out there. It's a good way to keep yourself relevant within the scene, even if you aren't really busy within Heists. At least you're working with other bands still, and you're keeping the Heist name busy.
And
I
it sets
find-
you guys up for a career elsewhere as well. Like, I mean, you got the band going, and obviously that's rolling on, and hopefully, if it's not already, hopefully it'll reach a stage where you guys can, quit your day jobs and you can just focus on doing the band thing.
You've done that?
Nah,
Chris.
like with the photo.
But
music
having
video
your own, being able to provide those services and working with other bands through your connections and your networking that you're engaging with at shows, that really builds an opportunity for you. Yeah, it builds those opportunities and allows you to sort of have it all connected together and work for yourself in that regard.
And just that it's good to have one eye on what everyone else is doing at the same time anyway.
That's it. Well, yeah, it keeps you in tune of whatever's going on in the industry. Not that I feel like you guys would be like trend chasers necessarily, but it allows, if the wind's blowing a certain way, you can be like, all right, well, this is something that a lot of people are doing that's getting some success. How is that something we should consider for us or not? Not just doing it because it's a trend, but looking at it from that more legitimate perspective of, does that fit with how we would want to do things? Is that something that would work for us? How can we do that in our own way? That's, that it's still unique to us.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like we've got, our the drummer in both of the bands, because it's the same drummer. The drummer in both the bands that I'm in, he's got his own graphic design, website design studio and everything, and he works with. He tries to reach out to bands, and whenever we're playing shows, talking to new people, he's like, oh, if they comment on our artwork and everything, or he goes, yeah, well, I actually did that. It's my business. If you're interested, here's my card. Blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Like I've got the studio space here, trying to make that happen as well. Talk to bands if they, I've mentioned, hey, I've got this studio, I've got a recording studio here. If you're interested in doing something, you kind of make it tangential to what you're doing with the band, and it all feeds into everything like together.
You make a stronger connection as well with like bands rather than just touring with them and you do your 3 weekends and you're done. Like you actually build I've got friends that I will have for the rest of my life now because of this band, and not just because of the band, but the work that I've done. That it's only been discovered because I've been doing the band. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the things that's most important to me. Like, I keep meeting these absolute sick cunts, and I'm like, well, I just want to keep doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's half the reason why we do this.
Yeah, I don't want to go meet office people. Like,
Yeah, they're boring as fuck.
exactly.
Definitely. Do you guys find though, and this is something that this question is probably more for Sean than Guy, because I think Sean's probably closer to my age. Do you find, like, you're going out there, you're doing gigs, maybe not so much the support, like the big tours and stuff, but if you're doing, like, you know, your own gigs out there and you've got some of the bands that are supporting for you guys, do you find that you're in your head, you're like, well, like, I'm in my mid-30s, so everyone else is in their mid-30s, and you're like, and you just it fucks with your perception of time when you got these bands that you're playing with and their people are like 20, 21 years old. You're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're like me. You're in your 30s, right? Like, do you find that? Because I find that all the fucking time.
I think in my head I'm about 7 years old, and I think everyone else is 7 years old. No, but yeah, sorta. Sometimes I'm like, oh shit, like, oh fuck, that dude's like 20, and then sometimes they'll say something, I'm like, oh, you are 20.
That makes sense.
You're so dumb.
I mean, but what I'm finding as well is a lot of these younger bands that we're playing with, they're a lot more clued in to the way the industry works than what I was.
Like there's bands now that were like, when I was their age, I had no idea what was happening, and these guys are like on top of them. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I think there's like a
who
higher
told you
entry
that?
point.
Like,
There's like a higher entry point, which I think's sick. Like so the quality of like your local band is now. I mean, it's not always as the songwriting might not be there, but the production across the board seems to have like leveled up, which makes it a lot easier to hear the potential of a band, and it makes it a lot easier for bands to come up, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you got bands now that the accessibility of consumer recording equipment rather than commercial recording equipment, the proliferation of that in the streaming age has absolutely raised that bar. It's lowered the barrier to entry, but it's usually raised the bar of the quality of the output that's coming from that.
Yeah,
you know, you got to talk about, like, back in, you know, the mid 2000s when you got a band like Horrorwood Mannequins that's out here doing their first, you know, they won a grant to do their first album and they went out there and recorded it. And I mean, look, all love to Horrorwood Mannequins, but that first album sounds fucking terrible. Because it was done in, you know, it was done in, like, you know, on a very tight budget.
yeah.
So when you're trying to balance like a commercial studio, but it's on a tight budget, you really limit what you're able to do there. Whereas proliferation of consumer equipment means that you can go to someone that's able to spend more time on it, that maybe is a more niche skill set that's going to work best with what you're trying to do. And you've got bands now that, they're like the people like 19, 20, 21, and the EPs or albums that they're releasing, you know, production wise are crazy, and they're getting they're able to obtain that at a much more reasonable price than we ever would have been able to back when we were starting.
On a 20-year-old wage, like, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
and like music videos, man, like music videos, what, they would be like $1 million a pop, but now, like,
well, you know, you've got 4K cameras in your fucking phones now.
8K.
So
We've got 8K that nearly crushed my
8K,
computer.
yep.
or even like the movie quality fucking Twitch stream that guys got going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like I had a band on Beer Buddy a couple of middle of last year. They're called Sarah Kills, right? Now these guys are just the dirtiest grunge psychedelic punk thing you will ever see in your life. It's dirty, it's heinous, it's fucking amazing. I love it. They recorded the whole video clip on their phone, and it's just mate, it's just shots of them going through the city, playing in their backyard. The video clip fits the music perfectly. If you haven't gone and checked them out, go check out Sarah Kills on YouTube. I'll give them a little plug because, mate, like, there is literally no excuse now for any kid out there, that's for any teenager, young bloke, whatever. If you start a band and you at least got a little bit of coin, you got plugins, you got... Mate, garage bands are not a thing anymore. It's bedroom bands, because you can record all your shit out of your fucking bedroom if you got the right plugins and you got a half decent computer, and then if you got a phone, which everything has. Or YouTube only does 1080p. Yeah. Film everything in 1080p. You're gonna have yourself a good quality video, and you're gonna have everything out there within months. There's no excuse anymore. You got to play
It allows
the
the potential. Allows the potential of what they're going for to come to the fore more readily.
Yeah.
Even as far as writing, like now with like you can have top quality sounding drum sounds and like it's just MIDI based plugins that sound like the real deal these days. So you don't need like as far as writing, it's not you're not limited to writing in a garage on Saturday for the 3 hours that you're together. You can and like Chris writes everything. You know what I mean? Like for the band for the most part. And he's I watched him over the years slowly upgrade his stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe I should get better stuff again. And like, and he goes from strength to strength every time because then he gets more sounds in and more production value to it to go into the studio. And then we go to the producer and say, hey, like this is basically what we have. Can you spruce this up a little bit? And then comes out as what it is, which I like. Like,
well, turns out a whole lot of other people do too.
That's why we got. That's why I got this one because this kit was like half me but half one of my bands as well. Because we bought that to help ourselves, but also so that I've got that for the business. So if I've got a band wanting to record drums, we play on that, and then we just get some high quality drum plugins. And for most people can't tell. Like but usually like other musicians might be able to twig it. They might sort of be able to pick up on very subtle cues that are in there. But
everything's sampled to the shit house these days anyway.
Most drums have beat matching, beat replacement. Most drum tracks that are recorded, that happens anyway. So, but the average person, the average consumer is not going to be able to tell. So it's definitely, and look, that's good and bad. It's good and bad because it enables also that access to people that have no clue what they're doing, and then they can go online and sell courses to people that are unfortunately suckered into buying these courses when the person has no clue what they're doing just because they've got a studio that looks fancy.
Selling snake oil, I know what you mean. Yeah. There's lots of that in like the marketing world as well, and I've been suckered into it. I'm like, I know more than this dickhead. Like, it happens. You know what I mean? Like
it's all learning curves, but
100%,
especially in our industry. I mean, you and I've said this before. We pick such a niche market. We pick heavy metal in Australia. Like, how much more niche do you want to fucking get? Like,
four spots you can really hit. Times a year.
And really, like, I'm not about to bust hairs about subgenres within heavy metal in Australia because there ain't fucking enough of us. Like, you're pretty much a metalhead or you listen to other stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not enough people in Australia to break down this subgenre thing. So, the whole concept that you guys just, do it the way...
Australia's actually super expensive to market to because there is so few people and we have such a high GDP. Fun fact.
And we're so far apart. Like the population
thing
is so spread out.
I've noticed like a bunch of my friends have now done like the Europe thing. You do the 30 dates or like 20 or 25 dates in 30 days or something. They come back as a completely different band, man. Like I remember when Justice for the Damned went overseas for the first time and came back and did a headline tour just straight afterwards. It was insane watching them live. They were just so much tighter and so much more on point. Whereas I feel like we can't get the legs in here. Where, there's American bands that are, their local scene, they'll tour their tri-state area and they can hit 10 cities or 15 cities. Really cut their teeth a lot more.
When that happens though, there's also like a much more saturated market.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot more competition to try and like.
Yeah.
Has there ever been that thought?
But if that doesn't matter,
have you guys ever thought about doing it? Like, because I know back in the day when sort of me and Raph were doing it, you do those pay to play things in like Indonesia and stuff like that, where they go like in Philippines and places like that, where they go, you get your ticket over here, we'll get you a driver, we'll get you to the venue. All you got to do, I think it was like, all you got to do is pay for your minimal hotels.
Yeah.
And it ends up being like, between the whole band, you got 5 or 6 people. It ends up being like 4 or 5, 6 grand or whatever to get over there. But you pretty much sort it out when you're over there. Have you guys ever?
No, the conversation's never come up. I mean, I think there was like a loose offer at one point. I just think that wasn't the right timing for us. I don't think. I think we'll try and especially with Southeast Asia. Like, I'd love to do Japan more than anything in the world. But dude. The market's not necessarily there for us as of yet. The second it's available, I'm there, dude.
I think you're wrong. That like the whole thing is And this is not trying to
Oh,
be
yeah,
racist
yeah.
or anything like that. Like, this is just a fact. You're white, you're
Okay.
Australian, you play metal, and the Japanese will just fucking just go to see you because you're white.
Yeah, it's
That-
exotic and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That often.
Yeah,
I
and I
know what you
think,
mean.
and that's it. Like that's it. I think there's a part of there's an aspect of, from what I've understood, because I know of a couple of bands that have gone and done Japan, and I've spoken to a couple of others that have toured there as well, and I've spoken to them when they've done the Australian part of their sort of tours, and they've found that on a local, let's say a local band level, like bands at your guys' kind of level, go over and play there, because in sort of all throughout Asia and Middle East and stuff like that, metal is still like, we think we've got it bad in Australia in terms of it not being a popular or supported genre. They've like
They got
we've got
nothing.
it easy. We got it easy compared to them, right?
True.
And you go over there and there's so few events that are like metal shows like that, especially international metal bands that will come in, that at the lower, at this kind of level, that not the like Metallicas and Slipknots and stuff, that's different, like, but at the level that you guys are at, that kind of, when that happens, it's an event.
It's
sort of
perfect.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
they know about it. It's like the old underground networks, and it's
I think
just
that's
like
what
everyone
like,
kind of knows.
heaps of people say about Darwin as well.
And you
Yeah,
get
really?
a lot of
Yeah.
people that will like, they might have their preferred subgenre of metal as an example,
Yeah.
but they will go to any metal show.
Yeah,
I
they don't
remember I was
care.
talking to one band. It was a Canadian band. They kind of did like your glam rock, like Guns N' Roses type stuff, and they'd done Japan just before they came to Australia. And he was saying like, yeah, it was really weird because like this, you saw this one dude walk in and he's in his suit. Like, he's in his suit, looking all proper. He's got his briefcase. He's come from work. He walked into the bathroom, walked out of the bathroom, full fucking like denim and leather, black metal fucking paint on and everything.
Yeah.
But this was a glam rock show. Like, imagine dressing like, someone dressing like that to go and see Guns N' Roses. Probably wouldn't happen in like a
Yeah.
Western setting.
Yeah.
And this guy's preferred stuff, aesthetic and probably genre, is likely in that part of black metal area. But it's a metal gig, so he's there
Yeah.
because
100%.
It's just
they
metal.
don't come along.
Yeah.
They just don't come
there-
along that often. So
There's not nitpicking like there is in
No.
our culture.
not as
Yeah.
much, not as much as here. I mean, I know Kyle is saying we can't really afford to have the subdivisions in the genres, but I definitely feel like
There
there's
is.
a lot of like, you've got like kind of your hardcore side of things and your metal side of things, and then your punk side, and they've sort of,
Yeah.
you get some crossover occasionally, but it doesn't seem to be as crossed over as it probably
But
could be.
there's certain scenes as well. Like,
Yeah.
I find the hardcore scene and the punk side of things to be very cagey. Like, it has to be hardcore or it has to be punk, and that's very specific to that. So like, we're not super accepted in the hardcore world, but like, sort of like, we're friends in it obviously, but like, we don't play with those bands just because it probably wouldn't suit the show and people would kind of turn their neck to it. So like, it's sort of just one of those things we tend to avoid. But like, if someone asks me what we are, I'm like, a metalcore band but kind of hardcore-y, you know what I mean? Like, it's there's a lot of that, especially in Australia, and like the tall poppy syndrome type thing. Like, it's
Definitely.
Because, I mean, like, how hard does it get for you guys, especially being an East Coast band, right? There's only so many people to play to within our market. There's only so many venues that you guys are going to be able to play. At what point, especially with your recent success with the last album, is what would be your next step from here? Because you quite clearly have taken over your own backyard.
Yeah. Well, I think we just want to keep touring at this point and hit, like, Melbourne and Brisbane. I think now that the record's out, they know who we are. But now we're at a point where it's like, all right, now we need to become your favorite band.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
That's how I'm sort of approaching it. So like, we're getting good responses, but not as headliners as yet because we haven't tested it, I guess. That'll come. That'll come in time. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of, you just got to keep hitting those markets. And obviously, like, say, Sydney is probably our strongest market by a factor of 2. You know what I mean? We'll sell twice as many tickets in Sydney as we would anywhere else in Australia. But now it's a matter of like, all right, we can't just concentrate on Sydney. Obviously, we'll try and do like little special shows or whatever for Sydney where we can. But at this point, we just want to keep touring and hitting those other markets as if they're our hometown.
Yeah. Well, 10 Ton Steg has said, give us a Katoomba show, and then you really have Sydney.
Let's do it.
Get a someone text Shinto Katana, see if they'll headline.
Hey,
They're Penrith
Uh,
boys, aren't they?
Yeah.
You guys get you guys Shinto Katana, get Red B on there. Ooh, that'd be tasty.
Oh,
That'd
dude.
be a tasty lineup.
Dude, that'd be that'd be
Go on, book it.
interesting. Should we try and do it too? Should we try and book our own show, Raf? Should we try and do a two dudes talk music show into Katoomba?
Oof.
We did a D's Nuts in Penrith, and that went fucking off.
That was off
dude.
its tit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. That was crazy. That was a great, like, I was like, oh, we're just supporting, like, when we're supporting a bigger band like that, I'm like, I don't expect many people to know us. And, like, you go in with no expectations, I guess, is probably the best way to go into those. Because sometimes you can be let down and be like, oh, I was hoping for a good one. Whereas if you just go in and be like, we're here to warm the crowd up. But that one blew all expectations out of the park. Everyone's just going crazy, dude.
I think this is a prime opportunity to play at Ethan's house. Ethan's house show. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Go, you're on Ethan.
Yeah, there you go. He's got your backyard.
Backyard shows.
Backyard show. Video clip. That's a perfect opportunity for a video clip.
Yeah.
Our first ever headliner as Heists was in a backyard.
Was that the Doonside one?
Yeah, dude.
That was
yeah.
sick.
Fucking
Yeah.
Dooney.
That was
Jesus
actually fucking
Christ.
mad. Yeah.
It was funny though, because we only had 2 songs like out. And we just played, like, and everyone's like, we don't know what to do, but we'll go crazy. Like,
Yeah,
that was
mate,
fun.
that's all you need. That's
We
all
did
you
like
need.
2 covers that day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's so weird. Like we found when we got like a similar kind of response when Tensions when we recorded over in the US, we played a show as well, and
Mad.
everyone was like going off for the other bands and like jumping around and doing this. And when we played, everyone was watching, but no one was really moving around. And we're like, afterwards, everyone was coming up. They were like fawning over, like, "Oh my god, that was so good." And we're like, "Really?" Like no one was kind of moving around or anything. Like we were worried people weren't into it, and they're like, "No, it's just so different from anything we heard before." So sometimes it's just that, right? It's like if people just aren't familiar enough with what you're doing, or they haven't heard. If what you're bringing is just so different from what they've, kind of got their experience within that
They've got
regard,
to be
they
able
might
to
be
pick
kind
up
of like,
what you're putting down.
and like sometimes it's just a matter of that, like they're just not familiar enough with your music to know how to best, respond to it, I guess.
Oh, that's it. They're just taking it in. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're just like getting familiar with it, like, and you think if they'd heard it maybe 1 or 2 more times, they'd be sweet, but because it's the first time, you're kind of like, all right, I just want to gauge this and see where this is going, I guess. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Should we take it home, Kyle? Do you reckon?
Yeah,
We
man,
don't want to
let's
keep
do
you
it.
guys too much longer. I realize it's getting a bit later in Sydney than it is for me
I'll
up
queue
here.
all day.
I have a girlfriend to feed.
Yeah. All right. Look, let's take it home. So, Kyle, what have you got coming up again?
All right,
next
so
week, for you, buddy?
Saturday I have Chavez Cartel, if I could say that properly. Fucking Bell's palsy. Chavez Cartel on Saturday night. Then Monday I have Chamberlain on.
Ooh,
For their
Chamberlain boys.
Yeah, the boys from Chamberlain on for the Gymnar Talks. And then just honestly, guys, if you're out there, and this goes out to anyone, if you're in Sydney, or basically anyone on the East Coast, if you're in Sydney, Melbourne, Queensland, whatever, keep an eye out for those free tickets, the double passes that will be coming out on this and stuff like that, because
we'll have more info soon on those.
I've got the tickets. Where are they?
Oh, now you can't find them.
There you go. I've got the tickets. I'll cover that code. I've got the tickets in my hot little hands.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
So ticket
those
giveaways for
be coming.
Gymnar Rocks 2023, and just mate, the boys from Heists, Guy, Sean, can't thank you enough for tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, that's been awesome.
But-
So, is there any specific gigs? Is there anything that you guys have got coming up and you want to plug?
Come back here on Saturday, baby. Let's go.
It's Saturday at the Crowbar, yeah?
Yes, sir.
it.
Very good.
Going to be in Sydney for that one. Definitely go and check it out. In terms of my end of things, I got we got a gig coming up with Skunkbone. Last minute announcement for that one. We are playing the Unentitled. They have their single launch for their Advance Australia Unfair single that's dropping very, very soon. It's dropping next week. So we're playing the
Isn't
single
that one
launch
that
for
you recorded, Raf?
That is one of the ones I recorded.
Woo!
Yeah, those boys were
Okay.
in my studio here, recorded that EP. That first song's coming out on Australia Day. They're, if you're not familiar, they're a young punk band, very, very politically minded. Hence, having a song like called "Advance Australia Unfair" dropping on Australia Day. But that one's at O'Sculligan's in Brisbane. So if you're around in the Brisbane area, come along for that one. We've got Skunk Bones playing that one. I just want to see. I know there's a band. Shock Value is playing that as Skunk Bone, Crave, and Unentitled's headlining that one. It's at O'Sculligan's. Tickets are cheap as chips. I think they're $5 plus the booking fee if you pre-order them. They're 10 at the door. Proceeds are actually going to Dreamtime Aroha, which is a charity as well. So that's going to be that's going to be a good old time. I may even get up on stage with the Unentitled boys and do something there. Who knows?
Yeah, nice.
And we actually also have Unentitled next week on the podcast as well. So they'll be coming on Thursday night next week, which will be good. They get to talk all about their new song and all their political stuff. So that's going to be awesome. Once again, yes, thank you so much to Guy and Sean from Heists. It's been awesome chatting to you guys, getting to know you guys a little bit. That's been amazing. Your stuff's definitely going to be my regular rotation going forward.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys might want to come back on, talk about anything else you got going on, feel free to let us know. We will gladly have you guys back on and push anything that you may need that's going on.
Sweet.
Other than that, look, we always sign off the podcast with this, so thank you very much for tuning in tonight. As usual, this one will be up on YouTube later. If you don't catch the live stream, you can catch them on YouTube, or you can listen to them as an actual podcast through Acast. It's up on Spotify and all that shit too. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to see the podcast without ads, you can become a paid subscriber on Twitch. That is an option that's available there. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. We know, as we all know, the world's been pretty crazy for the last few years. Everything's getting a bit heated politically and all that stuff. Let's just try and be kind to each other. Let's just try and come together, support each other, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this shit. So thank you once again to our guests. Thank you to all the people tuning in. Thank you to my co-host, Kyle. Stay